In order to submit a response, you will need to create a quote in Combise. Quote is the Combise term for your response. In this section, we'll demonstrate how to start a new quote and take you step by step through the process. The main tasks are responding to the Items tab, the Terms and Conditions tab, and uploading to the Attachments tab all of the documents you have prepared. We are looking at the header for an open bid solicitation, accessed from a Seller Role homepage. Return to the Locate a Bid module if you're unsure how to get to here. Scroll down past the header information, the Attachments and Items sections. At the bottom of the page are 5 to 6 buttons. Click Create Quote. Combise displays a new quote. Generally, creating and submitting a Combise quote involves working through each of the tabs and responding as required. In Combise, required fields are marked with an asterisk. As you can see, the only field marked on the General tab is the description, which is already pre-filled with data from the bid solicitation. Unless an RFR directs you to, nothing else is required on this tab. To start the quote, click Save and Continue. Notice we are still on the General tab, but in place of the label New Quote, Combise now displays a quote number and company name. Just above that are a couple of error messages that will be addressed as we respond to the remaining tabs. Red messages must be resolved before you can submit a response. Yellow messages indicate that the quote has not yet been submitted. Once you have a quote number, you can exit Combise and return to the quote through the Seller home page. Click the Items tab. Listed here are the same items or categories from the bid solicitation and described in the RFR. Notice that each item includes a hyperlinked number. Clicking it may reveal more information about the item. Each item also has a description. The setup of items and the method of responding vary. Notice the column headings: No Bid, No Charge, and See Quote Attachments. By default, See Quote Attachments are selected. Once you have responded to the Items tab, scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save and Continue. Now select the Questions tab. The buyer may have included questions that you must answer as part of your response. If questions are required, an error message will alert you. After answering any questions, click Save and Continue. Notice in our example, the error message about required questions has disappeared. The next two tabs are labeled Subcontractors and Notes. The Commonwealth is not using these features at this time. Next is the Terms and Conditions tab. On the Terms and Conditions tab, we find another listing of all of the files that were attached to the bid solicitation. Scroll down to just below the listed files. Do you accept the terms and conditions of the bid? By selecting Yes, you are accepting the terms and conditions of the request for response and all of the listed attachments relevant to the items you are bidding on. The option Yes, with exceptions, allows you to describe areas of concern in the text box below. Be advised that selecting this may make your quote less likely to be selected. Let's click the Yes Radio button, then click Save and Continue. Notice the Terms and Conditions warning message at the top of the screen has disappeared. Next is the Attachments tab. From here you will upload all of the required files. If the RFR includes a checklist, it's a good idea to have that on hand to ensure you are including everything. This process is very much like attaching a file to an email message. First, click the Add File button. Next to the File field, some browsers display a Browse button rather than Choose File. Either way, click the button. A file selection box opens. Click the folder where you have stored your completed quote documents. Highlight a file and then either double-click or click the Open button. Combis populates the Add File box with details of the file. In the example, most of the files follow the RFR prescribed naming convention. If the name of a saved file does not match provided instructions, you can rename it easily. Just type the correct name into the name field. You also have an opportunity to add a description of the file, or if the RFR directs you to do so. Click Save and Add New to upload the file and continue to add more files. The file is now attached to the quote. Repeat the process until all of the required documents are attached to the quote. The Attachments tab label displays the number of uploaded documents. Notice you do have an option to mark documents confidential. If a buyer has requested that you upload something with sensitive information, such as tax ID numbers or bank account details, and the information is exempt from the Massachusetts Public Records Law, check the confidential box for that item and then click Save and Continue. However, be advised that in most instances, procurement documents are subject to the law. Once a contract is in place, non-exempt information will not remain confidential. If in reviewing your attached files, you notice a mistake, perhaps a duplicated uploaded file, deleting is easy. Simply select the delete box corresponding to the file you wish to remove, then click Save and Continue at the bottom of the page. The last tab is the Summary tab. From the Summary tab, you can review all of the details for your quote response. Double-check the attachments. Under Item Information, make sure that the word No is displayed under the No Bid label for your desired category or categories. If you notice something you would like to change, select the related tab, Edit, and save the changes. Then click the Summary tab again. Once everything is ready, scroll to the bottom of the Summary page and click Submit Quote. Combis asks if you are sure you are ready to submit the quote. Click OK. The yellow warning message disappears. The quote status is marked Submitted, confirming that Combis has delivered your quote to the buyer's account. Let's click the Home icon to go back to the seller homepage. Notice the small number next to the Quotes tab. The tab is a hyperlink. Clicking it reveals more details about the quotes in the company account. If you exited a quote before submitting, you can access it through the Working subtab. Or, if you want to access quotes already submitted, you can do so through the Submitted subtab. In the example, quotes have been submitted and are stored safely in the Combis business account.